Welcome to the Positive Impact Business Podcast. I'm your host, Lucy, and I'm your ethical business strategist. I'm convinced that we can change our world for the better and that businesses have a vital part to play to do so. I've made it my mission to help positive impact businesses be more visible, become the new normal of doing business, creating a more ethical, sustainable, kinder, and fairer society so that our future has a chance. The Positive Impact Business podcast exists to give these striving, ethical, and sustainable businesses a platform to share their story, as well as sharing their entrepreneurial journey with their fellow impact entrepreneurs, empowering them, to grow with knowledge from their experience. And today I am pleased to be talking with Hassan, who is the founder of the Hive Enterprise, aka the first staff sharing platform. Hi, Hassan, how are you doing today?
Very good, Lucy. Thank you very much for having me today.
It's really my pleasure. For those who don't know him, Hassan is an engineer turned entrepreneur with over 12 years of experience in delivering and managing engineering projects, as well as B2B technical consultancy services. He's been involved in small and big organizations and worked in healthcare, medical, nuclear, facilities management, and education sector. As mentioned before, he is currently the founder of the startup, the Hive Enterprise. Welcome again, and thank you for being with us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and I'm really excited about our talk today. And hopefully, we can talk and share notes and sort of like a nice conversation about what it is that we all need to consider when we are trying to create an ethical and strong vision around values for businesses and startups in today's life.
Definitely. And speaking of which, today we will talk about how unprecedented time like the current pandemic have created an urge for developing new and innovative ways to increase job security, aka your business. And
Mhm.
that's really what the Hive is all about. You've designed it to solve flexible resourcing demands and sustainable business growth while protecting jobs and offering new and creative L&D routes through secondments. Oh, sorry, secondments. For any company from SMEs to large enterprise, the Hive offers the opportunity to retain talents, hire staff in a secure and fair way for employees, and rather very flexible manner for companies who need the help, but don't necessarily need or have the resource to create a full new position. Personally, if you ask me, I think it's the future of staff management. But we will let you talk to us about this in a sec. We'll also talk about what it's like to start a tech startup with a strong purpose at its heart and the challenges that this may bring when growing and how to overcome them. So that's a pretty full agenda for one podcast. Hopefully we can cover everything. Asen, before we jump into more information about what the Hive is all about, I'd like to take a little step back and hear all about your journey. What brought you to create the Hive Enterprise?
Well, I guess it's really based on my experiences as an employee, and then later on as the manager of a group of very talented people. As you mentioned, I'm an engineer by profession, and I had the pleasure of working in different and exciting industries and indeed projects where there was an impact that I could see before my eyes, whether it is positively impacting people in the medical or healthcare sectors, or indeed trying to create more or safer environments in the nuclear industry and in the education sector as well. But one thing that I noticed is that when companies are trying to create a technical team or a cluster of technical skills and talent, they end up facing more often than not, they end up facing sometimes challenging situations that are perhaps outside their control, where a company is faced with the reality that they may have to reduce their human capital, making some people redundant or switching them to 0 hours contracts, when they are trying to avoid that. There's so much that has been invested in developing these people, and those are talented and loyal employees that the company really cares about. And I thought, okay, this is a really tough one, because most businesses who are trying to avoid it are really stuck and they couldn't do anything about it. But even the same companies that face such problems as they manage the peaks and troughs of workflow realize that other times they find themselves stretched for resources. They are sort of trying to get contractors on board or freelancers to support them in delivering projects that go beyond the limits of the human capital that they have. And it occurred to me from the perhaps the unideal situations that we encountered when we try to bring in contractors or freelancers, that there may be an opportunity there. If I'm trying to get a contractor on board in a, delivering a technical project, I will have to pay premium rates. And not every time I can find that contractor, because they might be occupied for other projects. And if I were to opt for freelancers who can deliver small gigs, they tend to be a hit and miss. Sometimes you get really incredible freelancers, very good, very versatile, and very affordable, but it is a bit of a trial and error. And we are aware of the potential negative implication that the gig economy can have on individuals who are in that space. From that perspective, I realized that if a business is able to look at its talent and think of it as a currency for establishing a business-to-business collaboration, whereby the company can actually share any underutilized capacity that it has to another business that is simply stretched for resources and looking to bring those contractors and freelancers. And this is, while this is being managed through a business-to-business services contract, so you have the elements of legal protection and NDA, protection against staff poaching, protection of data and management of personal information, it made sense that if the right legal platform is in place, that the two businesses can enter that element, that sort of collaboration, and work to help solve their resourcing demands without losing people that they've invested so heavily in developing and in retaining. It just seemed like a really good idea that allows us to retain staff, to even develop them, because the same concept can be used to send someone. You'd be working in a company and suddenly your manager is saying, I've got this really incredible opportunity with, I don't know, Nestle or Deloitte, and I'm going to send you on a secondment with them. Spend 6 months there and come back, and you are, a person who is ready to break into that next level of whatever senior management that you're aiming for. It also serves as a really good learning and development route. Many of us have been in a position where we are looking at our line managers and saying, when am I going to get that raise? Or when are you going to give me that opportunity to, break into that next tier in terms of management? And more often than not, the answer is we don't have enough funding, or we don't have the opportunity for projects. You're going to have to be a bit patient. This is a very common problem. It's not limited to technical environments or technical teams. And I feel like from that perspective, this is a solution that can help save jobs and also allow businesses to grow in a sustainable manner as they enter those business-to-business collaboration projects.
I mean, every time I hear you talking about this, because we spoke before, I know I sound a little bit, and we've been speaking a bit before about your business a few times now. And every time I hear about it, it's like you have that way to put things that it feels like it's always a new way of explaining it. I don't know if you're aware of that, but every time I hear it, I just keep, being so interested in it and see the power that it has at so many different levels, because from a business perspective, it is really useful in the sense, as you said, like you get to avoid redundancy and having to, get people to leave, or you can retain talent, you can train your staff, and all of that under a manner that stays very competitive, because I think that, unfortunately, we still live, I mean, I say unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's not necessarily unfortunate, but to my eyes, unfortunately, we are still living in a world that is 100% ruled by money. And because of that, obviously, businesses are always pressured to how do they invest their, every of their pennies. And yeah, it's definitely make it difficult to develop a business if you can hire the right people, or if you have to let go people as well. Even more in a position, in a situation like today, in the middle of the pandemic. So from in your current clients, like, because I guess you've had some of your uh, you've had a lot of clients coming in with the pandemic as well, testing the service. So what's their feedback at the moment? Obviously you kind of like came at the right time in history really to launch this platform. So what was the response from these first clients?
That's a very good question, Lucy. I think the response tends to be somewhere on the spectrum of this is a really good idea, but have no clue how you can make it happen. So that element of skepticism, yet somehow supportive of the notion of what it's all about. To the end of that spectrum where the person is so excited, I completely believe in this. This makes sense. I'm not sure why nobody has ever done this before. So I think it's a generally positive impression, but there are big questions about how can you make this happen, whether are we able or comfortable to move away from something that we've been set to do for the past 20, 30 years, especially in the UK.
Which is always difficult
We are
for everyone.
absolutely, and we are a nation that is so creative. Like we produce and export innovation around the world. However, when it comes to applying the new ways of managing human resources, we tend to be a little bit conservative about that. And I think it is for good reasons. Why? Because obviously there's a lot of stake, and we don't want to be, we want to be very protective of people's rights and employees' rights. So we want to make sure that we are taking fair steps towards them. But like in any venture, and I'm sure a lot of listeners to this podcast will be saying, actually, it is just a matter of time. There's an element of education involved in it, but generally a positive response, I would say.
And so, from the user who tested the service so far, have you had the chance to get some feedback from the actual employees who go through the program, like what it's like for them as well, because they're at the forefront of that?
Absolutely. I think it depends on which employee I'm talking to. Some employees are very much in a position where they are about to lose their jobs, or they are, perhaps a founder in a startup and can see their business really struggling. So this serves as a lifeline for them, if I'm honest with you, when they are able to, enter a collaboration project with another non-competing business that can help them solve their problem for the short term until they are back on their feet. But also there are the employees who are in a situation where they've been offered this opportunity to, as I was mentioning earlier, to jump on this secondment with another business in a different environment. And it's all very exciting. It's like, it's an opportunity for one to step into a new world and learn and gain experience and offer their, fresh eyes onto things, and then come back and bring that added level of experience to their parent company and enjoy that sort of win-win situation. So depending on the employee, it tends to be either a life-saving opportunity or a very interesting and exciting venture, if I may say.
Yeah. No, I completely understand what you're saying. And I think I recall, but please tell me if I'm wrong. I recall mentioning with you, we were saying how, because obviously the purpose of your business, outside of being so innovative and so needed, I think, in our days and age, there's that, greater purpose as well to really create a more sustainable model, in terms of how our economy works. And I believe you mentioned to me before that you're also trying to have these conversations at higher rank as well, with government and policymakers as well.
That is correct. One of the things that we're trying to bring forward or push for is to try and see if we can get the government on board. Now, I don't know about you or the listeners, but the term furlough was completely new to me when it was exchanged back in March this time last year. Everybody's talking about furloughing, everybody's talking about job protection schemes and whatnot, and I was not aware what that meant. But then quickly realized, okay, so the government is going to pay the company a percentage of the wages so that they can retain the employee and not lose them, so that they don't make redundancies. Brilliant. For me, what are we doing essentially is perfectly in line with that. We are trying to protect jobs. We are trying to help businesses find a different way or avoid unwanted redundancies by simply partnering with another non-competing business who is happy to borrow the staff and pay for their wages. That is a furlough, but between two businesses. And it is not capped at the 80%. It's not capped at the 2,500 per calendar month, for instance. It is allowing the two businesses to turn perhaps a challenging situation into a business opportunity. And the beauty of it is that so far, so good from the perspective of when businesses are partnering, they're always referring to each other for any future requirements. So it does build the foundation for long-term collaboration, which is one of the core elements of what this whole project is about.
Collaboration over competition. That's my motto. That is my motto, you know that. So, right. So I'd like to know a bit more about, from an entrepreneurial perspective, what it's been like so far to start such a business and develop it. We're also here to inspire other business owners who are maybe at different stage of their journey in building their positive impact business and having a positive impact on our society through their business activities. And so I'd like to for you to share your experience from that perspective as a startup founder of a startup who has that greater purpose. Like, what were you not expecting? What challenges did you face, and how did you overcome them? We want to know.
Sure. Oh, I would love to share a million and one stories here. But I'll try to pick the most hopefully the most common ones that can help a lot of listeners. And I think the first one for me, which I've learned from others and realized or confirmed from my own experience, is not to invest heavily in a solution until one has had the chance to really go out to the market and learn as much as they can. And getting it wrong is fine. I mean, one thing that I keep telling myself and my team, it's okay if we go and put the wrong message out there, because nobody cares about us. We're still nothing. We're going to grow, hopefully. But right now, it's okay to make these mistakes. It's okay to roll out a solution that is clunky, sluggish, full of bugs, that doesn't work perfectly. But that's the whole point, that if you can put something out there that people are still going to use and still pay for, as is the case for our commercial enterprise, then you are onto something here. You are proving that you are able to solve somebody's pain, and solving that somebody's pain involving them giving you the money and saying, take my money, please help me. And that is for us really is establishing that product market fit, as the term is commonly used in the startup world. So the number one recommendation is not to jump too quickly into the situation where they start developing or building a solution. Mock-ups, MVPs, or minimum viable products is a great way about it, and ask as many questions as you can. Honestly, like the best thing that we can do is ask questions and read books, because information is there at our hand to help us when we haven't been through this process before. And the other thing is perhaps is very specific to our times, is the fact that we launched in April last year. That was almost a week into lockdown. It wasn't out of design, although in retrospect, it turned out to be like a very, very good time for us to launch, because people appreciate how useful this service is. But we haven't actually experienced a situation outside the pandemic. We've never really run our business where things are fine and normal. And what we know is that companies and clients do not tend to react positively to a purely negative message. Yes, sure, you want to talk about risk management, you want to talk about offering businesses a lifeline, and redundancies are bad, and this is a good solution for it, but really paint a positive picture. I mean, that's where the vision really is important. And what I really like about your project, Lucy, the fact that you are telling us all that there are people who love a positive mission, who love an ethical mission, and they want to engage. So that is in its own a great asset. It's a tool in our hand that we can leverage for marketing our proposition. And this is exactly what we've done as well. We've tried to say, we believe that we should help protect talent. We believe that businesses should be offered an opportunity to retain its best talent. And this is a great way of achieving that. So that is something that I would recommend. Like, your mission, your vision, and your values are basically another tool that you should really leverage every time you speak to a client, and they will hear it in your passion as well.
Mm. I'm
I don't know if
delighted.
that answers the question.
No, it does very much, and I'm delighted to hear what you have to say about it, because I think it's so true. You know, like I like that you take this comparison, because obviously in your industry and what you're trying to do, you could definitely go down the route of the like, I'm you know, there are problems in the world and we're going to help you solve them, and you know, all the risk and negativity that comes around, you know, around it. And but what kind of people does that bring back to you as well? You know, is it going to bring back, is it going to bring people that actually care about their employees, that actually care about, you know, having a sustainable economy? Or is it going to bring people who just want to make sure that they're not getting cut short? You know, where is the intention of, where the intention of working with you is coming from, and using that message the other way around, and from within your purpose and what you really care about and what's your mission is what's driving people that are fully aligned with what you want for the future, and who wants to take that on board. And I've been waiting for such a tool, such a concept to exist, to make our economy a little bit more elevated, if I may say. So
Absolutely.
yeah, no, I really appreciate that. I really like it. And yeah, definitely, I think we were talking about this as well. It's funny, I mean, I guess it's normal, you know, from one guest to another, there are topics, because obviously we're all coming from the same sphere, so there are topics that are coming back. But in a previous episode, I was speaking with Maria, who's a sustainable wedding planner, and she was also referring to that idea of sticking to your values, as you know, as someone who has these strong values, these strong ethos and mission and purpose at the heart of what they do. The best thing you can do is really fully embrace it and stick with it, and not worry about, you know, because this is something I hear a lot as well, from, you know, other people who are trying to build positive impact businesses, like, oh, if I speak too much about my mission, you know, how do people are going to see me, or are going to think I'm a hippie, or are they going to think I'm trying to make a profit out of a noble cause, or is it just a trend I'm following, you know? But at the end of the day, if you're not following what you really truly care about the most, then your message won't be authentic and it won't bring the right people towards you. So yes, thank you for emphasizing even more on that, because that's really what I try and push forward as a message for anybody who's listening to us and trying to make it work. Is trust yourself, trust your gut feeling about what you feel is right, what you feel is true. Then this is where you should go. This is the road that you should take, and you should fully embrace it. And that's how you're going to drive the right feedback and the right people towards you.
Absolutely. And if I may add to that, Lucy, as well, it's really important for entrepreneurs who are building their startup to believe in the culture of the business. I know it's a term, you know, like it's an MBA term that is used around, maybe it turns into a bit of a cliche, but the culture within of what, you know, what is considered to be important for someone, is it the same for the other? Is it the way that everybody do things? Is it the way that everybody look at the value of their business or the proposition that their business offers? It really is important, and it will come, it will show, it will surface when we are talking about our service. It will become very clear to someone who is engaging with us and who's trying to understand what is it that we're trying to build. In the end of the day, yes, it is a commercial enterprise, and it's all about, you know, doing business that makes sense. But relationships between businesses. For instance, in our case, it's a B2B situation. So it's double the case for us that we are engaging with different business clients, and we're trying to match them, because that's what we do. We're the matchmakers between businesses. And we realized actually what makes these decisions are, in the end of the day, are people. And if that person with their culture approach and their conviction with the idea that presenting is actually buying into it, it's going to happen. Even if there are imperfections, even if there are areas that were not 100% satisfying the original requirement, they're still going to sign, because that person has voted into it. That person is really interested in that. So yeah, I think we should definitely leverage it every time we talk about what we do. But I'm not, obviously, just to make it clear, I'm not promoting sort of lack of focus of what makes a business proposition valuable. Indeed, we have to do our homework, and we did. And in some cases we failed, but we learned with time that it's not all about, painting a lovely rosy picture, but that, that culture, that vision is so important, and we simply have to realize it's another asset in our business.
And even more, as businesses who are trying to have a positive impact on our society, if you don't have a business proposition that actually generate business, you simply don't have an impact, because most of the time, 100% of the time, your business is your tool to have that greater impact on our society. So if you're not generating business, and if it doesn't happen, if it's not working, you're simply not going to have an impact, and you're just going to have a great mission and lots of great values that you care about, but you're actually not having that impact. So no, you're right to precise that. I think it's important as well, definitely. Well, let's moving on. And I just wanted to know, you mentioned to me that you had something cooking in your kitchen that is going to come out soon.
Yes, so we are a pre-seed. we are a pre-seed startup. We've had the chance of getting some funding from friends, and obviously, the founders and co-founders. But right now, we are at a stage where, luckily, we've managed to generate good interest. We've got the hundreds of clients in our portal, generating revenue, which is key for a lot of businesses to prove that they have hit what they need to hit. And now it's a matter of us rolling out our new and improved portal. Right now, we've been using what you can best describe as the quasi MVP. We haven't invested heavily in the technical solution because we shouldn't, but now it's the time. And indeed, it aligns with our next step, which is seeking funding. So we are going to be pitching to angel investors. It's going to be exciting and scary. But indeed, we have started already the development of our new portal. And we're not going to lose the human touch, because this is what makes us who we are. But we are creating a hybrid of human and bot-driven processes, simply to allow us to scale. So that's really essentially what we are hopefully soon be rolling out. And we are aiming for a third or fourth quarter of this year to see this going live.
And I'll make sure to link down below to your website and to that, so people can have a look at it, and maybe, look at it now as the episode is coming out, and then look at it again in December or sometimes at the end of the year, and see the difference after investment.
Absolutely. And we are going to be inviting companies to sign up for the new portal, to join a waiting list, essentially, which helps build a bit of suspense, but just for good reasons. We want to make sure that we are ready to welcome the hundreds and hopefully thousands of businesses that can join us.
Cool. Awesome. Is there anything you'd like to add, maybe for our viewers and listeners today, that you want to share from your journey, or if you have any questions for me that you'd like me to have a go at, here's the time.
Well, I think one thing that, it's a topic that has recently been brought up 2 or 3 times, and it's about us as entrepreneurs really looking after ourselves. It's very easy for us to forget that, this, job as an entrepreneur is very exciting, very real. It makes, I don't know about you, it makes me feel alive in a lot of ways. Yes. I'm actually building your dream. This is what you believe in. And even if others do not see it, that's fine. That's your dream. That's who you are. This defines your identity. But we can easily get lost in that to the point where we don't look after ourselves, we don't give ourselves a good break, we don't support each other if we are a team of co-founders. Obviously, that is another thing, that if entrepreneurs out there are solo founders, I would say, if you can and it works, do bring other co-founders, because it makes a huge difference. That your team and your co-founders will become your rock. They will support you when you need it the most, but at the same time, it just is healthy to bring new opinions. So yeah, the point I want to raise is just for entrepreneurs to look after themselves, give yourselves the holidays and breaks. Do try and switch between weekends and weekdays. Actually, do draw the line if you can. I know it's very tricky, and I'm at fault many times in not following that through. But I just think it is something that we really should pay attention to.
For sure, definitely, and thank you for mentioning that, because I think this is definitely, and as entrepreneurs who have that greater mission as well, it really touches us so intimately as well, and we're so passionate about what we do, and we care so much about what we do, that we can easily forget ourselves in the process, because we just have that greater goal of doing good for our society and trying to make the world better, and it's far more important and far more greater than just us as the one person being, but at the same time, if you don't take care of yourself, then you can't have you can't move forward with your business, because you don't have the energy and the right mindset, or simply the energy to do things efficiently. So I definitely approve that message, like take the breaks that you need to take whenever you need to take them, because on the long run, if you exhaust all your resources in one go, then you're just going to burn out, and it's just not going to work. So yeah, take the breaks when you need to take them. Well, thank you very much, Hassan, for talking with me today. And thanks for being part of this community of other positive impact entrepreneurs.
I'm very happy to be part of it.
And speaking of community, if you are a positive impact entrepreneur or running a sustainable, ethical business, a mission-driven business, for profit, for purpose, how many descriptions do we have? I don't know. But if you are looking for help to grow your business, well, then I got you. Myself and other experts have partnered from social media to accounting, from business strategy to sustainability, to help you grow your positive impact business. And you simply have to look in Facebook for the Positive Impact Business Community. It's a free community for which memberships are granted upon application. And it's a non-compete, no-promo safe space where you get to discuss business strategy with fellow positive impact entrepreneurs, and with the help of our team of experts to answer all of your questions. And Hassan, you are one of our members. So what can you tell us about your experience so far in the group?
I think it's a no-brainer for anybody to be part of a community that is promoting not just the positive mission, but the collaboration between those who are pushing for that positive mission. I've looked at what is it that you are building in some level of depth, and I'm actually excited. I'm looking forward to see that I don't know if you've already disclosed the information about what's going to happen next, but I've been very excited about it. And I think what you have managed to start and on route to build is something that we not only benefit from, but we actually do need. And it's part of, if I may say, I think it's part of the revolution, the ESG, centric revolution, that now businesses and large enterprises are setting the bar high in terms of what kind of business or projects they want to involve in. And, it almost gets to the point where there is finger pointing and naming and shaming those who are not, those who have the influence but are not part of such emotion are not going to be okay with. So yeah, I think it's an exciting project. Sorry, I've gone in a very deep rabbit hole there.
No, thank you very much for all the kind words. Very very thank you. And yeah, thank you again for being with us today. And to you who is viewing this episode or listening to it, well, thank you very much. And I look forward to hearing all about your positive impact initiative. Bye.